And look, speaking of couples, of course, it's the official day of love. So snuggle up on the sofa next to your sweetheart while we take a look at how and what Aussies spent on Valentine's Day.
The 14th of February, the official day of love.
Probably just drink it away.
Just another day as far as I'm concerned.
Eat my feelings away, I think. Yeah, go on and get food now.
Valentine's Day is about connection. It doesn't have to be with big bucks.
But we are spending the big bucks.
I got a little tea dispenser that's in the shape of a pig.
In fact, for the first time ever, we're set to crack $500 million on Valentine's gifts. That's around $160 each as we wine, dine and Valentine each other.
I spread the rose petals on the street, the entire street where she lived, and I hide like 4 or 5 gifts in the house. That was a special day.
So, who's benefiting most from this financial outpouring of love?
Valentine's Day is great, particularly for those people that are only just starting to date or in that limerence stage, the beginning of the relationship, where you can cement the memories for the future.
And if you'd like to get a fresh Valentine of your very own, Sydney's Haymarket, Carlton in Melbourne and Bentley in Perth are among the country's most single suburbs. Maybe you could loiter there.
Can really start to feel lonely, particularly if you're out there on the dating apps and the years are passing.
I'm going to go get my eyes tested, so that's exciting, see how much older I am.
It's not just about couples and people that are married. Using Valentine's Day as that universal day for love can be a very smart idea for many.
I'm sort of recently single, so for me, the first thing that popped into my mind was just to text my close girlfriends Happy Valentine's Day, which is like a thing.
Bro, Valentine's dinner, I guess.
And if despite all your best laid plans, your V-Day fizzled out anyway, never fear, you're not alone. And it'll be a great story one day.
Probably 2 years ago when I got my ex like a designer piece of jewellery and she just didn't get me anything.
Oh my God, that's colder than a cat getting no love from a goldfish, which I was not expecting in that vision. Well, our joint Valentine, Kathy Lette, is here to really bring the love. Kathy, firstly, what are you doing for Valentine's Day?
Well, my boyfriend is cooking me a delicious meal because the way to a woman's heart is through her stomach. That's not aiming too high. And I can't cook. I use my smoke alarm as a timer. So, and then we'll be doing some dancing. Of course, I'm talking about the horizontal tango because, you know, women don't give up sex as they get older. I think they just get old if they give up sex. So that's my Valentine's Day.
Well, remember to leave room in your dessert stomach.
Exactly.
Now we know why you look so young, Kathy.
Oh, well said, well said.
And I don't know if you heard, we're spending $160 each on Valentine's Day. Have you ever spent too much money on a terrible boyfriend?
Oh, well, actually, the most money I ever spent on a terrible boyfriend was getting a flight to Melbourne to go and tell his wife that she was married to a guy who thought monogamy was something you make dining room tables out of. Because, you know, back in the 80s and the 90s, before Instagram and Facebook, it was very hard to find out a man's true story. So often you only found out he was married when you discovered the teething ring in his pocket from his children. So I think that was my worst Valentine's Day ever.
Wow. Well, I guess not wholly unrelated. I mean, given the stats that we saw in our story there, do you think that Valentine's Day could be more fun for singles than for people in a relationship?
Well, yes, look, the world is so full of hate and anger right now. I think however you get your love, let's get it. Whether it's singles, couples, Galentine's Day. A lot of my girlfriends go out together just to share the love, you know, because women are each other's human wonder bras, uplifting and supportive. Yeah. So, but I think it can be a difficult time for single people because the pressure on you to be in a couple. And this week I thought I was going into a hyperglycemic coma and I was about to go to hospital, and then I realised it was just the over-sentimentality and the sweetness of Valentine's Day was just too sugary. So, you know, I think women, yes, it's lovely to have romance, but I think we need equality rather than romance. But a man who treats you like an equal, there's nothing more romantic than that. Don't you think, girls?
I agree. I'm with you. We're each other's soulmates.
OK, well, this is good news because I'm a little bit terrified knowing that your latest book, The Revenge Club, It's around 4 women who are trying to get back at their exes. So is this just a way to ensure that you will forever be treated well on Valentine's Day? It's very clever. It's very clever.
Well, if you do have a cad, a love rat who's broken your heart,
I'm taking
there's
notes.
many sneaky ways you can have revenge. I think put some Nair hair remover in his shampoo bottle. That's good. Or, that retin-A women use to sort of peel their skin. Put it in his moisturiser, a lot of it. Or just turn up his bathroom scales by half a stone. That'll work wonders as well.
Terrifying.
You were talking about dessert. I think women are drawn to revenge because it's sweet, but totally non-fattening.
Yes,
Yeah.
you are
There's
so
always
right.
room for that.
Well,
Always room for revenge.
There's room for that. There's room for this book as well. Kathy's latest book, The Revenge Club, is out now. Would you please thank our favourite Valentine, Kathy Lette.